Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a fun vlog that kind of gives me an excuse to read a lot of autumnal reads, and specifically spooky season vibes. We're in October, and if I've timed this out properly, it'll go probably up a week before Halloween and such. But we are going to be reading books basically related to Halloween, whether that's witches, horror, or murder, or whatever and such. I'm giving myself a week to do this because in the next week afterwards, I'm filming a video that I'm really excited for that is related to something of mine and such like that I'll be celebrating in the near future as well. But basically just to get into books that I have currently and such that I want to read this week. Now these are very kind of tentative because theoretically I could get to all of these books this week, but I'm not too sure because I'm studying for exams, or technically an exam, a midterm more specifically and such. I'm getting stuff ready for group projects, reading and writing and doing workshop stuff for other classes as well too. But the books that I kind of want to get to this week, I only have one in the physical copy to start off with, but we have Wayward by Emilia Hart. This one basically follows, there's a quote on the front of the book that says, "They call us witches, we call ourselves wayward," and basically the back of the book and such like that is basically, or one of the quotes and such like that on the back is, "A brave and original debut and a spellbinding story about the legacy of witchcraft." So what I read on the back of the book is it follows three different women during three different timelines, specifically a woman named Kate in 2019, where she flees London for Wayward College to inherited from a great aunt that she barely remembers and such, and basically suspecting that her great aunt had a secret that was hidden ever since the witch hunts in the 17th century. And then in 1619, Althena, I think is how you pronounce her name. Her name is spelled Altha. I'll go with Althena because that sounds like the best and such. But basically, she's awaiting trial for murder of a local farmer who was stampeded to death by his herd and such, and following that and such, Althena knows it will take all of her powers to maintain her freedom and such. So basically, it sounds like that she's a witch from this time period and such, And then the other time period follows a woman named Violet, who that takes place in 1942, around World War II timeline and such. It says Violet is trapped in her family's grand crumbling estate, straitjacketed to societal convention. She longs for a robust education her brothers received. Oh, okay, so that's interesting and such. The only traces Violet has of her mother is a locket that bear the initial W and the word wayward scratched into the baseboard of her bedroom. So I'm guessing it weaves these women through 5 different centuries and such like that. And Wayward is an enthralling novel of female resistance and transformative power of the natural world. And this sounds really interesting. I've wanted to read it for such a long time and such, but this is one of the books I'm hoping to get to this week. And maybe not, we shall see and such, because I have a lot of stuff going on, but hopefully we can get to it. That's one of the books that I really want to get to. And the other one that I have is on my Kindle, but it is Hidden Pictures by Jason. I have no idea how you pronounce his name, but his name is Jason Rakulik. Let me see how you pronounce it and such, because I'm not too sure how you pronounce it. Let me see. Rakulik. Oh, I was right in pronouncing it. Yeah, so his name is Jason Rakulik and such. This one is basically about a little boy and such like that, and a nanny specifically, this woman named Mallory Quinn. She's coming out of rehab, and she takes a babysitting job for Ted and Caroline Maxwell, and she's to look after their 5-year-old son, Teddy. Mallory loves it. She has her own living space, goes out for nightly runs, and has the stability she's been craving for. And she sincerely bonds with Teddy, who is a sweet, shy boy who is never without his sketchbook and pencil. His drawings are the usual fare, trees, rabbits, balloons, but one day he draws something different. A man in a forest dragging a woman's lifeless body. And I've heard that it's really good to read on Kindle or for like physical copies specifically, because I heard that there's like drawings within the actual book itself, which is why I'm reading it on my Kindle and like probably not going to listen to that book, but that's okay too and such. But that's the second book that I kind of want to get to this week. And then the third book I've technically already started. I listened to like a chapter and probably going to listen to a chapter later, but we have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Sotano. I have heard things about this book, but also not so many things about this book. It's very much like a hidden gem. I first heard about it from Kalila Denson. I'll put her username up on the screen and such for where I first got this recommendation and such, and I'm really kind of excited. It's more like a cozy mystery that is basically follows around this older woman named Vera Wong. More specifically, let me pull up the stuff and such. But she is a self-proclaimed tea expert, and she enjoys nothing more than sipping on a good coffee and a good cup of her tea and doing some healthy detective work on the internet, aka checking up on her son to see if he's dating anybody. But when Vera wakes up one morning to find a dead man in the middle of her tea shop, it's going to take more than a strong Long John? I don't know how you pronounce that. I don't really want to. I don't know how you pronounce that and such. To fix things, knowing she'll do a better job than the police possibly could, because nobody sniffs out wrongdoing quite like a suspicious Chinese mother with time on her hands. Vera decides it's down to her to catch the killer. Nobody spills this tea like an amateur sleuth. So it's a very interesting, kind of what I would describe as maybe like a cozy mystery type of vibe and such, but I've already kind of started reading this, so I think this is obviously the first book I'm going to pick up in this and such like that, because I just had a feeling to start with this one, and so I did and such. But yeah, I'm gonna do some work right now. I'm gonna do like some schoolwork and such, and then I am going to probably later you guys will see me reading a little bit of Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers and such as well too. But yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. I will see you guys when I have either updates or when I'm reading a little bit of Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Besties, it is currently literally 1 minute till 11 o'clock on Wednesday night, and I'm coming in with my halfway update of me reading Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. So I just kind of want to update you guys and such. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie, I was too lazy to clip on the microphone since I was just gonna do a quick little update. I'm on chapter 21 within the book, and mine says 51 while the audiobook, like the Kindle says it's 51%, while the audiobook says it's 50% exactly and such. So I'm just going to kind of treat it like I'm at the 50% mark because that's basically where I'm at and such. And just to kind of update, I really am liking this. I will say, I knew what I was kind of getting into with this. I knew that it was going to be more on the like cozier side of things, and I was going to be like more of a cozy mystery and such. Now we're starting to get into the mysterious elements of the story itself, and I really am liking it. I think it's a fun little thing to read. I think it's a fun, just like thing in general, you know, it's a fun little read, and it is definitely not the best thing I've read in the entire world, but am I entertained? Yes. And basically, if you guys don't know what this book is about, it follows this woman named Vera. She is an older woman who's living in San Francisco with her tea shop. Her tea shop's not doing the greatest. And then she ends up like downstairs, she finds a dead man basically in her tea shop and such. And for some reason, she has taken it like upon herself to figure out how this guy was killed and such. And then you see all of these different people coming into the story, because it's not just told through Vera's point of view, it's told through third person point of view through all of these characters. So you get so you obviously get Vera, you get this guy named Ricky, you get this woman named Sana, you get the dead man's widow, Julia, you get the dead man's brother, Oliver, and you get all of their points of view and such, but in third person. happened. So the characters know something while the reader basically knows like everything that's going on within the story and can basically kind of see what's happening and such. And we just got to an interesting part where like there's like obviously with him being dead, and then something happens to where it can kind of not be written off as a coincidence, if that makes any sense. So people are like trying to figure that out and such. We've got this whole other mystery thing as well too. And I will say I've been listening to the audiobook of this majority, like the majority of the audiobook and such, while sometimes reading it on my Kindle if I have like spare time or whatever. And the woman who does like the voice acting and such, she's really, really good at it. And I tell you what, being in Vera's point of view is so funny, being in her head and just kind of like looking at the way that she sees the world. Cause you know, she's an older Chinese woman. Like what else is she gonna do? And I tell you what, it's definitely, a fun, silly, goofy time with a little bit of murder involved and such. I mean, it's got to and such like that. Like just look at that cover. It's probably up somewhere on the screen as well too and such. But other than that, I don't have any like bad thoughts whatsoever, you know? I'm really not having any bad thoughts. If I were to rate this, it's somewhere between like a 3.5 to 3.75. I don't know if it's 4-star worthy, to be honest with you. I don't know if I will keep thinking about this story. And I mean, a lot of the time, some 4 stars, I don't constantly think about that story, but like, you know, it's like something where like if somebody mentions it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember reading that. And this one, I feel like I could, but also at the same time, I don't know. I haven't gotten to the end of the book and such. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So far, it's been really, really good. The story is very interesting, but I will say if you are looking, I will say this and such like that. I haven't even finished the book, but this is 100% cozy. So if you are not the person who likes a little cozy mystery vibes and likes a more mysterious undertone where you're not like thrilling or like on the edge of your seat to learn about what's happening and such. Because as like I was listening to this, I'm very much in that state of like, oh, I'm excited to see what happens, but I don't care how long it takes to get me there. I hope you guys know what I mean when I say that, because I think one of the main things what differentiates thrillers from mysteries for me personally is that thrilling aspect of you just being like put into this like sense of just like, it can either be dread or like fearfulness, and you're just getting pulled like closer to your end goal and such like that. And with mysteries, you still have that mysterious like way about you, but it's a little bit more on the not so like fearful side, you know? Like this is not a fearful book. It's just an older Chinese woman who literally has nothing else better to do in her life than like figure out what the hell killed the man that ended up in her tea shop, essentially, you know? And the way I will say, the only thing that I'm really kind of having qualms about and such is the way that Vera talks sometimes about the younger generation, but it makes sense. She's an older woman. She's an older Chinese woman. Did I mention that? Not to be mean or anything. I'm just saying it's a really, really big part of her character, because especially nowadays and just how history has gone throughout our entire lives and such, Asian moms and like Asian aunties and like Asian like elder generations and such like that, they get this rap of kind of tearing down the young people and such, you know, how she words it and such. It makes sense. Like I said, it's a cozy little mystery. I'm enjoying it. It's like sitting around the 3.5 to 3.75 range. It probably, I know that it's not going to get a 4 because I'm like, you know what? It's fun in the moment, but I probably won't remember anything too much about this story, but I'll just be like, you know, that was a fun little ride that we went on, you know? But yeah, that is it for my halfway check-in. I will probably come back to you guys when I've officially finished reading Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next update. Good evening, besties, or maybe it's the afternoon. It's closer to the afternoon. Anyways, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I am doing good myself personally, because I have just finished reading Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. And for this book, I have lots of thoughts, while also not many thoughts at the same time. Let me first start out with my rating, and I'm rating it a solid 3 stars. It was good. It was fine. Is it anything like groundbreaking in my opinion? No, not really, to be honest with you. And let me kind of explain the reason why I don't find it too groundbreaking in my opinion. Mostly just because, in my opinion, it's not the best piece of literature that's ever been written, but I had a really fun time while reading it. It's exactly what it says. It's a cozy mystery, perfect for the fall time and such, and just perfect for that stuff in general as well. And I really did enjoy the story. I liked seeing Vera. I liked getting to meet all the other characters in this found family. I really liked the found family situation that was in here. So if you are a sucker for found family, this is a really good book for you and such. But for me personally, I didn't really feel too connected to the storyline. I thought they were great. I thought it was a fun, cute, silly, like goofy time and such like that about an older Chinese woman basically trying to figure out what the hell happened to this guy that was murdered in her tea shop and such, you know. And it was just like, it's silly, goofy time. It's a silly, goofy time is basically what I can describe to you with this and such. And it was really funny. It was extremely funny in my opinion. Not to me where it was like a laugh out loud, like, but like there were just some moments where you're just like, oh my lord. Or just like things where you're just like, you just kind of like do that, you know, you just kind of just like, you snicker to yourself or whatever. And you're just like, that was great. That's how I felt with this book. And yeah, the only things that really, I didn't really like too much, like I don't really have many dislikes about this book. I'm not going to lie. I don't have any dislikes about this book. Personally, it's just there was a lot of like things in my opinion that were kind of rushed, especially near the end. And I know it's a mystery novel and such, and you're not meant to feel like the thrilling thing. I will say that if you are looking for something like thrillery and it's going to keep you on the edge of your seat, don't read this one because this one is, as it sounds, it is a cozy mystery and such. And of course, we don't always follow Vera's character in this. It's told through a third person point of view, but you get introduction to Vera. You get introduction to these 4 other characters named Ricky, Sana, Oliver, and Julie. And they kind of all come together because they have something to do or like some relation with the person that was murdered essentially. And Vera is basically trying to figure out which one of them killed the guy and such, and just kind of like learning to be kind of like this found family and kind of like finding sparks in each other again, you know? And it was really just kind of fun. It was fun to watch. It was fun to just kind of like, you know, just kind of see these group of strangers. It almost kind of gave me the same feeling that I had when reading Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, because I mean, most of them were not strangers to each other. The only strangers that was there was not Oliver, what's his name? Wallace. Oh my God, I could not remember his name and such, but like Wallace was a stranger to like Hugo and May and Nelson and such. And while Vera was a stranger to all of them and all of them strangers to each other, they had that found family connection that you found in Under the Whispering Door, which I found to be really, really charming, you know? And it was also kind of a nice little like change of pace and such to not be like looking around and feeling just like this like sense of dread after turning every single page and just being like, oh my God, what is going to happen next? So it was a nice little repriever. I would almost kind of call this like a cleanser book, if that makes any sense. If you guys know what I mean by that, a lot of the time, maybe I don't know if it's called a cleansing book technically, but it's like a palate cleanser book. That's what I'm looking for. It's like a palate cleanser book. This is something that you don't need a lot of energy when reading, and you can kind of read this like as long as you want. Not as long. You can read this as slow or as fast as you want to and such. I personally liked taking my time with it, which is why it took me pretty much almost all week to finish this book, because one of college, but also of other things and such like that as well too, you know. But I just really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the characters. There were a couple of things in the plot that did kind of mess me up a little bit, but overall it was a silly, goofy time, a cozy mystery like it says, and I really did enjoy this. There's a companion novel after this, I'm pretty sure. I think it's called Vera Wong Advice for Snooping on a Dead Man, or something along that line, something to do with like snooping on somebody, but it'll be up on the screen somewhere. I'm not too sure what that one is called. But yeah, solid 3 stars. I have it in the Kindle version, but I think I might go get it in the physical copy because, you know, it was a fun, silly little goofy time. I don't know when I will read the next book or even if I will, but I do know that I have that on my list if needed to. And I think I definitely want to check out this author, Jessie Q. Sotano. I think I'm going to check her out a little bit more and such just to see what she kind of writes because I do like the way she characterizes people and her writing style. So I definitely want to kind of do a deep dive into her stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say on Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice. And I will say, I gave myself a week to record this video, and it is Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday, and Saturday is like my cut-off day. But I don't want this to just be a one book vlog and such. And you guys know that I had 2 more books lined up, which was Hidden Pictures and Wayward. And to be honest, I don't think I'm going to get to either of them in this video. So I was kind of scrolling around on like Kindle Unlimited and seeing what I could find and such just because of just like different things like that. And I found a fairly short, like, novel. I think it's technically turned as a novella, but it's like a novel, but it's What Moves the Dead by T. King Fisher. So many people have read her stuff and have really, really liked it. I've never read anything by T. King Fisher, but I've been wanting to for a long time, if that makes any sense, you know? So I have that I could do. Or I could do one of the novellas from like one of the like Amazon original stories where I think it's called Alibi, I think is what the story collection name is. And the only 2 authors that I really like recognize on there was Frida McFadden and Sally Hempworth. Sally Hempworth, she wrote Darling Girls. That became popular. That became like really, really popular like last year, and I loved it personally. I loved Darling Girls. I gave it a 5-star at the time that I read it, but I don't know if I would give it a 5-star again, you know, but I still enjoyed it. And then I have Death Row by Frida McFadden, and she's the one that wrote The Housemaid. I literally just read that damn book. I literally just read it. I was like blanking on that. And they are not too long of stories. So I'm thinking about either reading both of those novellas just in a short amount of time today/tomorrow as well, so that it's not just a one book vlog, because I feel like I'm jipping you guys out of that and such. So, because next week, the next 2 weeks, I'm filming a video that requires me to take my time so that I can get it out on the time frame that I need it to go out and such, which that one's going to be a little bit of a secret, but I have the books all ready for that vlog ready to go and such once this vlog ends. So I will probably come back to you guys whether or not I'm either reading Death Row by Frida McFadden. I think the one by Sally Hempworth is called The Ex-Wives Club, I think, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Or I will come back with a reading What Moves the Dead by T. King Fisher. So I will see you guys with whichever book I decide to pick up next. Good morning, besties. It is currently Saturday, and as you guys saw in the previous clips, I had just finished reading Death Row by Frida McFadden. That is a part of the Alibis collection, I think is what it's actually called and such. And not gonna lie, I actually kind of liked it, to be honest with you. I gave it a 3-star, kind of like around like the similar vein, not kind of like the similar vein how I feel about Vera Wong, but like how I feel about 3 stars. For me, kind of rating novellas is a little bit on the interesting side for me personally. I haven't read enough of them to know what I like in a novella specifically, or even like a short story and such. But with this one, I honestly kind of liked it. And I feel like I didn't really like talk to y'all about like what Death Row was about, but you're basically following this woman named Talia. She's accused of killing her husband and she is on death row. And you kind of follow her, like how she's like feeling about this death row, and something just kind of seems like a little bit not right, you know? And I will say, I don't think it had that like, well, I don't know what to say and such like that, but sometimes when it comes to like thrillers or mysteries, I feel like it needs to be thrown into maybe more of a like full-length novel. I get why it's like thrown into this way. Like the book is literally like it's not even a book. It's like 74 pages and such. It's a fairly short like book essentially, you know? And I get like why the premise was like there and how it was kind of started up as well too. But I don't know. I just didn't get like that signature kind of like, I mean, I felt the uneasiness of like what is going on essentially, but you know, it's one of those books where I would recommend if you're going on like a car ride and you want something quick and easy and such, like if it's like somewhere over like an hour or so, whatever that you need to travel, it's a good one to kind of listen to and just kind of like do like whatever, because it's free on Kindle Unlimited, and also you get the audiobook with it if you have an Audible subscription and such. It just automatically gets added to your account essentially, you know, so it gets added to there and then you can listen to that. I listened to it while also reading it, and I did almost fall asleep when reading it, but that's just because of the time frame. I was just really, really tired, and overall I give it a 3-star, kind of like what I said in my Goodreads review, is that it's quick, it's simple, it's really, really easy to follow and such, and you kind of figure out like what's happening because of all of these things that are like not quite properly lining up as to how or why she was on death row in the first place, you know, and you get a little bit more of characterization with the husband and like Talia and whatever, you know, who she's accused of killing. And overall, not too bad, to be honest with you. It was a nice little like quick novella essentially, you know. And since I couldn't get to the other books and such like that in this video, I was just like, I will do this. And I'm still not too sure, honestly. It's like 11 a.m. as I'm filming this clip. I'm still not too sure if I want to read What Moves the Dead or if I just want to call it quits right here. I'm leaning more towards calling it quits right here because I got to study for a midterm that I have on Monday, and I feel fairly confident but also not too confident at the same time, if you know what I mean. So I have that I need to study for and such, and also edit some YouTube videos. So that's kind of all I have to say on Death Row. It's 100% a 3-star. Yeah, not too bad. I'd recommend it if you are like maybe sitting in a doctor's office and you need to wait for a little bit after getting a shot. That's what I usually do. Or you're waiting for like a bank appointment or whatever. Or you're just like waiting and you're just like, I want something kind of easy and quick to get through that I want to read and not like have to like start and stop and start and stop. Like I can just like get through it, you know? Yeah, I'd recommend that. I don't know if I'm going to read any of the other books. The other one that had an intrigue for me personally is The Ex-Wives Club by Sally Hempworth. She's the one that wrote Darling Girls, and I really liked reading Darling Girls by her. So if I were, I would probably read that one. But right now, I think I'm just going to end the video right here. So just to do a little bit of a recap of the books that I read this week. Most of my week was taken up by Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders by Jessie Q. Sotano. I read this mostly in the Kindle version and such, but I got the physical copy last night and it was delivered this morning, and I did like it. It was a 3-star. I really liked seeing the found family aspect. Like I said in my review for that, it really kind of reminded me of Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which I really, really did like, to say the least, you know? So with that, and also there were a couple of times where like Gen Z, not really like Gen Z language more specifically, but like modern language was used, which wasn't too bad in my opinion. And getting to listen, I also mostly listened to the audiobook as well too, so being able to see and listen to the other characters and getting in their brains and their thoughts, you know, was really kind of interesting to me. I don't know if I will continue this series because there's another book after after this, I think, but I can't remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But that's what I'm kind of feeling with this right now. Maybe I will continue with it, maybe I won't, but solid 3 stars. A solid 3 stars. And then I obviously talked about Death Row. I'm not going to reiterate my thoughts because I literally just talked about it, but that one was a 3 star. Not too bad, not too great, you know. It's like one of those things where it's like a quick, easy, like, you can get through it extremely fast. But anyways, that is the end of this video. Sorry that I didn't get to any of the other books in this vlog that I wanted to. I just had a crazy week and such, and I only gave myself a week to film this video because next week, the next 2 weeks, I'm actually filming a very special kind of like treat video for me personally because a fun little event is coming up for me and such, and you guys will see what that is soon and such. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. I really hope you did enjoy this. Let me know if you have read Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, or if you do plan on reading it after hearing my review. Let me know if you are kind of like on the fence of Frida McFadden like I am. I'm still not too sure if I truly like her as an author. I think it just kind of depends on maybe like the stories and what I want to like feel from her essentially, you know? But yeah, also comment a is there a prison emoji? I don't know. Why don't you comment like one of those blood drop emojis if you've made it to this video and to the end of the video essentially. But yeah, all of my links will be in the description down below. All of my socials will be popping up on the screen as well too. Again, thank you guys again for watching, and I truly, truly hope you guys have an amazing day, week, month, and year. See you, friends.